Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Chopra. In the first foreign secretary level talks between two countries since 2010, Bangladesh has urged Pakistan to issue a formal apology for the genocide committed by its armed forces during the 1971 Liberation War. But that can't be the crux of the closed-door meeting. In the recent months, Bangladesh's chief advisor has held many meetings with Shehbaz Sharif, advocated for the revival of SAARC, enabled visa-free travel between Bangladesh and Pakistan, and negotiated a deal for the Pakistani army to train Bangladeshi troops. In fact, Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar is scheduled to visit Dhaka between 27th and 28th April. At the time when Bangladesh's Sheikh Mujibur Rahman statues were being vandalized, Mohammad Yunus, who had already become the chief economic advisor, remained a passive observer. So why is he suddenly interested in seeking an apology? I take this conversation forward. I have with me on the broadcast Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee. We have with us Shoaib Chaudhary, senior journalist, Major General Gigi Dwivedi, and we have with us Gautam Mukherjee, journalist as well. Let me begin with Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee. Ambassador Mukherjee, very rich of a Mohammad Yunus to now come and pretend as though Bangladesh or the current dispensation of Bangladesh truly cares about the genocide of 1971, given that just a few months back they were not only observing but in fact encouraging the vandalism and the complete destruction of Bangladesh's history and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Well, Devika, as a historian, I can tell you, you can never destroy history. You try to do that, it comes back to haunt you. What is happening right now in Bangladesh is, if you look at the newspaper headlines of today, it says that the BNP was not pleased with its meeting with Mohammad Yunus because he refused to set a date for early elections. The BNP has also fought in the 1971 Liberation War, and Mohammad Yunus can see the writing on the wall. He cannot deny, by trying to destroy history, the language movement, the attempt to impose Urdu over Bengali, the attempt to destroy the culture and unique civilizational identity of the Bengali nation and the Bengali language, which led in the first place to the struggle for liberation and the creation of the nation state of Bangladesh. So, the apology he will never get, but it demonstrates that he has understood that if at some point he is pressured into holding early elections, he is going to lose those elections, because those who brought down the statues of Mujib, you can bring down a statue. You can't erase history. You can't change what happened. You can't pretend that all those Bengali women were raped, that their kids had nowhere to go. You can't pretend that there were no apologists who took partisan roles siding with Pakistan in that genocide. You can't pretend that Mujibur Rahman should have become the Prime Minister of United Pakistan, and that the West Pakistan, who despise Bengalis and look down upon them for various reasons, including racism, because they regard them as dark-skinned and inferior to them, you cannot erase the fact that Mujib was denied out of being Prime Minister of United Pakistan. That is how the whole war started in the first instance. You cannot deny what Tikka Khan did. You can't deny what Yahya Khan did. So you can have as many foreign office consultations as you want, in my perspective, Devika, but you cannot change history. And that history is not written in statues, nor is it destroyed by destroying a statue. That is in the DNA of each and every Bangladeshi and Bengali, and nobody from either side of the border, from India's side or on the Bangladesh side, can forget what happened. Which is why these FOCs and Pakistan sending its foreign secretary, etc., has to resolve the first and fundamental question. which is, do nations apologize when they commit grievous genocide? Has United Kingdom ever apologized for Jallianwala Bagh? Has Japan apologized for what it did to the Koreans and the Burmese? Nobody apologizes for anything, but it leaves deep wounds which are then never healed. I would be very, very surprised that when Yunus is obliged to hold elections, that he will be able to hold on to anything. He will catch the first flight and go back to where he belongs, which is the Clinton family and the US deep state to whom he owes everything. That is where Yunus belongs. And if he can see the writing on the wall in Bengali or in any other language, I would advise him in Bengali, Yunus, go back to where you belong, which is be as close to the Clintons as possible, be as close to the Obamas as possible. They are the ones who put you up to it. Your time is over, just go. I would say that, Devika, that the writing is clear on the wall. There will be no apology, and if there is no apology, there can never be normalization of relations. Devika.
Absolutely. Major General Gigi Dwivedi, I want to bring you into the conversation. So I want to understand from your perspective, why do you think Mohammad Yunus is currently attempting this eyewash of a conversation where he's saying that Pakistan must apologize for 1971? Because, like I said, last year he was busy destroying the statues of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the hero of Bangladesh's liberation. But more than that, there has been a clear pivot once again towards Pakistan by Bangladesh under the guidance of Mohammad Yunus. So why do you think he's attempting to create this sort of a deception of a balancing act with Pakistan by seeking this apology?
Well, Devika, they say that history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. And it appears that the Bangladesh as a nation has a short memory, and possibly its leadership suffers from dementia. That they have forgotten what atrocities were committed by the Pakistan army on the people of Bangladesh. And I had the honor to fight the war as a second lieutenant. And I have witnessed all this firsthand. About 3 million Bangladeshi nationals were murdered, about 300,000 Bangladeshi women were violated, and today it's surprising that Mohammad Yunus is hobnobbing with Pakistan. I think I'd like to make 3-4 important points. First and foremost, this asking for apology is just a farce because, as Ambassador said, no nation ever apologizes and Pakistan is not going to apologize. Mohammad Yunus is playing in the hands of Pakistan and China as a pawn, and that is absolutely the ground situation. Pakistan army, you imagine, ISI chief was here in Bangladesh, and Pakistan army is going to train, Pakistan Air Force is going to train the Bangladesh pilots on JF-70, which Bangladesh is going to acquire. The Chinese are here in big way. They are going to be party to the Teesta water. They are going to construct dams, and they are also trying to have a finger in the pie in Mongol, port. So what is all this showing? This is showing basically 3 important facets. First and foremost, Yunus is playing in the hands of Pakistan and China, and is trying to be acronymous to India and trying to balance it out with these 2 nations. The second point is Mohammad Yunus has no, I think, desire or intent to hold election anytime soon, because that is what the whole situation is playing out. And the third point is, why is Mohammad Yunus actually so hostile to India? That is a moot point, and that point is basically he harbors some kind of grievances or acrimony against our country. All I can say is Mohammad Yunus is playing with fire, is sacrificing the interest of his country for very narrow personal gains, and in that Bangladesh is going to soon be another Pakistan, because is going to lose what a little advantage it had in terms of economy and what a little advantage it had in terms of a secular democratic nation. All I can say is, I also feel further that Muhammad Yunus' days are numbered. He is actually also a pawn in the hands of the chief Waqar Zaman, and moment his utility is over, I think he may be eased off. But I feel Bangladesh, the days ahead are not very good or conducive because the nation has chosen to play as a pawn in the hands of Pakistan and China. Devi.
Okay. Let me bring in Shoaib Chaudhary into the conversation as well. Shoaib Chaudhary, I want to understand from your perspective, how do you view this attempt by Muhammad Yunus to now say that Bangladesh expects an apology for the genocide of 1971, when clearly there have been attempts in the past several months by Muhammad Yunus to pivot towards Pakistan, which could possibly create a dangerous situation for countries in the neighborhood, specifically with India as well. But why do you think he is attempting to now tell the world that, hold on, here's a balancing act for you?
Thank you very much, Devika ji. First of all, we have to understand who Yunus is. Yunus is not a citizen of this country. He did not take part in our great war of independence. He is a mercenary of the US deep state. He is a lapdog of the Pakistani eyesight. Who Yunus is to ask seek apology from Pakistan? Do you think if Hitler was alive and he would seek apology to Jews, he would be forgiven? We Bengalis will never forgive Pakistan. They've killed my 30 lakh people. They've raped my mothers and sisters, 3 to 4 lakh. Pakistan shall remain the eternal enemy of Bengalis. There is no apology from Pakistan. There is no relationship with Pakistan. But Yunus wants it because Yunus wants to delay the history of our war of independence. Yunus is today's Osama bin Laden. He's a monster. He's looting Bangladesh. He's destroying Bangladesh. As Her Excellency Ambassador Mukherjee said that Yunus should leave. I am telling Yunus, hold election within 1 month, or flee this country, or leave this country. Otherwise, these Bengalis will hang you along with your Pakistani masters on this earth. There is no space for Pakistan in this country. Pakistan remains our eternal enemy. No apology. We Bengalis never accept apologies. How can you accept apology? How can you bring back my 30 lakh people? How can you bring back those thousands of Indian soldiers and officers who also sacrificed their life from my country? How can you give the honor back return to my mothers and sisters? Pakistan, whoever attempts to establish relations with Pakistan, whoever attempts to normalize relations with Pakistan is the enemy of Bengalis. I am rejecting Yunus, and Yunus, as I said, is illegal. He is illegal. He was planted following August 5th jihadist coup in this country. And we don't accept a mercenary. Yunus is a mercenary. Yunus is a lapdog of Pakistan. Who he is to decide what we do. We will decide when there is an elected government in this country. And I am calling upon my army, Bangladesh Armed Forces, act now. Remove this traitor from this land. Otherwise, this traitor is destroying my country. He is also turning my country, Bangladesh, as a safe haven of jihadists and terrorists. He is turning Bangladesh into a regional terrorism launchpad. You see what is happening in Murshidabad in India? Bangladeshi jihadists are connected to that. We don't want to become Pakistan. We are never Pakistan. I would call upon Bangladesh army to ask this Pakistani minister, whoever is coming, to take back 8 lakh Biharis from Bangladesh.
Mr. Shoaib Chaudhary, I want to ask an honest question from you. What really is the larger perception of a Muhammad Yunus in Bangladesh right now? What is it that people on the ground, what is the sentiment towards Muhammad Yunus and his pivot towards Pakistan? How are the people of Bangladesh viewing that? See, it's one thing that you wanted Sheikh Hasina out, that there was an element in Bangladesh that perhaps wanted Sheikh Hasina out. That's one thing. But it's another thing altogether when a Muhammad Yunus, as you claim, a puppet leader who's been inserted, then begins a full-fledged pivot towards Pakistan and re-establishing relations with Pakistan. So I want to understand what really is his perception in Bangladesh.
Devika ji, what you are hearing from me is the voice of 180 million Bengalis. What you hear in Bangladeshi media is not the voice of us. This is run by Yunus. There is a heavy press censorship. And Yunus, he does not even have a 1% support in this country. He has only support from the jihadis and illegitimate children of Pakistan. Illegitimate children of Pakistan, those who want to turn Bangladesh into Pakistan. And I am telling you again, it is not so-called mercenaries. He is a mercenary. Yunus does not belong to this country. He is a foreign national. He is here to destroy this country, and he has been planted by Pakistani ISI and other elements in American people to destroy Bangladesh. And if you ask me why the people are not reacting, Bangladesh has been hijacked. Bangladesh has been hijacked by thugs and hooligans and jihadis of US deep state and Pakistani ISI since August 5th. But I am assuring you, and all our honorable panelists will agree, that we Bengalis are Royal Bengal Tigers. We fought in 1971 when we were weak. We are not weak now. We will fight. Bengalis will never bow down. We Bengalis, I'm repeating, we are Royal Bengal Tigers. We will fight, and we will defeat Pakistan and its agents and illegitimate children from this country. And this time, we made a mistake. In 1971, we returned the 93,000 Pakistanis and the collaborators, we let them live in this country. This time, we'll pack them in ships and send them to Pakistan, or we will let them walk down in Bay of Bengal. Pakistan has no place in Bangladesh, and we Bengalis will never forgive Pakistan. They are our eternal enemies.
Absolutely. Let me bring in Gautam Mukherjee into the conversation as well. Gautam Mukherjee, I want to understand if Muhammad Yunus does succeed in what he is attempting to do, which is re-establishing ties with Pakistan, is there somewhere then a cause of worry for India that we could potentially have 3 hostile neighbors instead of 2 at this point in time?
Well, I think what's been handed out right now is for public consumption, both the seeking of the apology and the reparations of $4.5 billion from Pakistan. Now, this is what has been released in the news for everybody to chew over. But the actual closed-door meetings are to do, I believe, with a much closer cooperation with Pakistan as well as China. The raison d'etre, as Mr. Chaudhary of Blitz was saying just now, was to get away from an abusive and fraudulent Pakistan that refused to acknowledge election results and then released a reign of terror on Bangladesh, killing many people and so on. Now, to try and wish it away is not possible, as Ambassador Mukherjee also said. And you are in a kind of a limbo if you deny the very reason for the birth of Bangladesh. To try and reunite with Pakistan and now China is a uncharted territory and unlikely to go well for Bangladesh as a nation. As far as India is concerned, we are watching this very closely. Our Eastern Command is on high alert. We have moved a lot of our military resources into the Chicken Neck area. There are 3 different locations surrounding Bangladesh and the Chicken Neck area where we are, militarily poised. In addition, there is a lot of activity happening in the Cox's Bazar and the Chittagong Hill Tracts area as well, from the Myanmar Arakan Army side. Bangladesh is encircled with problems. Now, for it to do this, and particularly via a man who is jettisoned into the country without any kind of roots other than being ethnically Bangladeshi, is tough. The BNP is not the only one demanding elections. Sheikh Hasina sitting in India is saying that I will return. Polls and reports say 49% are for the Awami League as we speak. So where is this going? Apart from certainly being a security threat, and plus his pronouncement in China, in Beijing, that the northeast states are landlocked. All of this is not going down well with India. India has fired the first salvo by refusing transshipments through India, and we are making preparations and watching the situation very closely. What will happen next is another. The Russian ships are in Bangladesh. American planes are in Bagram Bay. So everybody's watching this situation. I don't think the big powers are any more interested than India to let China and Pakistan get away with any misadventure.
Okay.
Devika.
On that note, I want to bring back Ambassador Basudhi Mukherjee. Ambassador Basudhi Mukherjee, would you agree with that assessment? And Mohammad Yunus making this pivot towards Pakistan, does this somewhere show some sort of a Chinese influence or the American deep state influence?
In the first place, I would like to congratulate Mr. Shoaib Chaudhary for what he said about the Bengali nation, the Bengali mind, and the Bengali people. An assessment that I share completely. And to say that Mohammad Yunus, Devika, you must understand, he is not a Bengali at all. He is just a puppet of the US deep state, not China, US deep state. And ultimately, that US deep state has been dismantled by Elon Musk and President Trump. So he has nowhere to go. So he is making new friends with China. But he forgets one very important thing, which is that even the Chinese understand very well that what happened in 1971 is not something that can be forgotten. If the Jews have not forgotten the Holocaust, if India has not forgotten Jallianwala Bagh, and that film, that iconic film has released today on Jallianwala Bagh, nations' memories are not so short for such traumatic genocidal events. Let's not forget, that was perhaps before you were born, Devika, that in 1971, the railway station in Sialdah, Kolkata was like a slum area filled with people who had crossed over to escape genocide and slaughter by the Pakistani army in then East Pakistan. So the point here is that Mohammad Yunus is trying desperately to postpone elections. He's had talks with the BNP which have not gone well. He is beginning to understand that the Jamaat will not be able to win a free and fair election. He must be beginning to understand that he will not be allowed to conduct a flawed election. In a free and fair election, the Jamaat will not win. The Jamaat has never won the popular vote in Bangladesh under any circumstance and will not win under any circumstance. I am willing to stick my neck out on this and say it. And therefore I say that when those elections will be held, where will Yunus go? Will he go to Islamabad? Will he go to Beijing? Or will he try to take shelter in United States where the deep state has been dismantled? He actually has nowhere to go. It would be best if the new government of Bangladesh does what Mr. Chaudhary said and hang him as soon as possible for treachery to the state of Bangladesh, for treachery for trying to erase the history of Bangladesh, for treachery for trying to forget that the creation of the Bengali Bangladeshi nation was because the then Pakistanis tried to erase Bengali and Bengal's culture from the soil of that sacred land which we call Bengal. So it's not going to be easy for him, Devika. He can do whatever he wants. He's never going to succeed. And as far as India is concerned, I agree with Gautam and with Major General that we have positioned our strategic resources where they are required. We are certainly not going to allow Mr. Yunus to try to bully us. We know how to look after our interests, and if necessary, we will complete the unfinished business of 1971. I don't need to go any further on national television, but to say that in 71 there was unfinished business. If he pulls our tail too hard, and I agree with Mr. Chaudhary that Bengalis are called Royal Bengal tigers and tigresses, if he pulls our tail too hard, we also know how to teach him a lesson. And it's a long-awaited lesson. The sooner we teach him a lesson, the better. Devika.
Okay, I want to leave the last word with Major General G.G. Dwivedi. Major General G.G. Dwivedi, your perspective on the same, that is it going to be a little tougher for India in the foreseeable future if there are 3 hostile neighbors instead of 2?
Absolutely, Devika, no doubt about it, because when the neighborhood is hostile, then your security concern also escalate. But the point is, we need to understand there is a greater game going on behind the scene than what we are able to read in front. China, Pakistan are very much in the game, and they are playing the game basically to isolate India and to bring further pressure on India. Well, I appreciate Mr. Chaudhary's sentiments and also the words, but also I am a little skeptical that there are elements in Bangladesh who are inimical to the interests of Bangladesh, who are playing in the hands of Pakistan, because when I fought the war, I know that the Razakars are the people who are currently very much active, and they are actually supporting the elements, radical elements. I think that is one area we need to be very concerned about. And second, Devika, the point is that Muhammad Yunus, after all, he is in position because he has certain amount of backing of the army. I am little skeptical on the role of Bangladesh Chief Army Staff as to why he is not stepping in. And there are a certain amount of indication that within Bangladesh Army also, there are elements who are also got radicalized. Maybe that he is slightly concerned, and he will take a step, I think, at the appointed time. All I can say, Bangladesh situation is very delicate. It is being made as a pawn in the hands of Pakistan and China. And the way things are happening in Bangladesh, India needs to be very much on the guard, because it impacts both our internal security and also external security. Devika.
Okay, all right. That's all the time that we have. I thank all of our panelists for joining us to take this conversation forward. With that, a very short break.